Today we're down here with Larry in his storage room area, and what we're doing is part 2 of the winterization video. So if you haven't seen part 1, you can watch that later. Part 1 is about getting all the water out of the tanks, draining them, cleaning the black tank, things like that. Part 2 now is going to be getting the antifreeze into the van and into the plumbing system. We're going to try different methods, and we'll have them all on video so you can see what works and the different ways that we're doing it. The one thing we're going to avoid though is pouring the coolant directly into the freshwater tank. So that's going to be something that we're not doing. It may be the easiest, but we're not going to be doing that. So that's what we're going to do. So if you want to come along for the ride, this will be excellent. So are you ready? Then let's do this. So one thing I didn't show previous video was the actual drain on the freshwater tank. So if you find it here, go back, and underneath here, a couple of inches in and up, you'll find the drain. I did sort of breeze over it when I was talking about using the shower to get the water into the toilet and how I would fill up the toilet, do that about 5 or 6 times, flushing it and then drain it. But during that time I had the freshwater drain opened, the little drain cock, and draining it out. So it is difficult to see. It's kind of like a yoga position to get into it, somewhere between downward dog and savasana, but you get your hand up, you will be able to find it, and that's how you drain the freshwater tank. It is advised also, I recommend to pull the orange cap out like I had shown in video 1. So this is video 2. So I'll just show you quickly a couple of things that I did pick up from Camping World, and the reason I picked them up is because I had a coupon, because I became a member of Good Sam, so I had a $25 coupon. So what I picked up first off is this screen here, and these are to go onto the heater, and they're to keep bugs out, so I may install those today. Another thing I picked up was this wand, which I forgot I bought when I flushed out the hot water tank, but this is good for that. It's got a bit of a tip angle, so you can get in, flush out the hot water tank. Then there's this pump, and this is the distribution pump between the coolant and the van, and this is one of the methods that we'll be using today. Something else I picked up is 2 of these valves. One of them is just a blow-by valve that you can just put a rubber hose on and draw or force in. The other one has like the bicycle valve, which you can actually put a bicycle pump on to pump the water out by opening up the taps and things. Something unrelated is this little sewer wrench. I haven't needed one, but I never want to show up at a place and need it and not be able to open up the sewer. There's all the talk of the antifreeze, and this is all they had, so this is what I went with. This is the Camco one. One of them is, I don't know, they're both safe. And then for the summer I picked up the Spring Fresh as well. I'll dump that in, not now, but in the springtime, just into my freshwater tank. And then completely unrelated, I picked up this hose bag, and this is just to put my hose in, right? So that's the stuff we'll be using, and let's do this. So our first step is going to be attach this fitting, which is on a bicycle pump, onto the city water. Right now the valve is set inside, it's set for the tank, for the freshwater tank. So what we're going to do is we're going to close that off and use this pumping air into here with the drain open, the exterior drain open, and we're just going to catch that little water into a cup. So now inside this style of Banff, it's on the lower cupboard. The valve is here. Right now it's open, and we're just going to put that closed. Now it's closed. For those that are questioning, this is the gray tank from the sink. It's basically a direct drain straight into this tank. Freshwater itself is molded into this black container behind the driver's seat. So this is the gray tank, which has the external drain on the outside. Okay.
Push up?
Yeah.
No way! After that.
A fellow Banff owner and subscriber and member on the Facebook club. Here's his rig here, beautiful. Almost 20,000 kilometers, same first year driving. And the modifications are unbelievable inside here, but we can't talk about that. We have to do this one now. Winterizing.
Can you catch the bottle here and how much you?
Spraying everywhere. It's pretty dry.
Okay, now what I'm doing is close this valve.
Yep.
And then turn on one by one.
Yep.
To push out a little more water.
Okay. Yeah. Push it out of the taps.
Yeah, I didn't do that, but you are recording, so
Yeah.
we need it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that my drains are going to be empty though.
Yeah,
Because
I
of
think so.
gravity.
I think so.
I think the gravity just drained it. So he's going to be pumping, and we're going to see if any water comes out of here. Yeah, I'm ready. The tap now is in the on position. And there we go. Stop! That's okay. Should have had a bigger cup. Okay. Stop!
Whoa, it's a lot.
Okay, more pump. So we had 1 full cup in each tap system. And that's it for this one. So we pulled a full cup of water out of the sink first, and then out of the rear shower. And that's with pumping on the outside to put air into the system to force the water out. So I'm quite confident now that the pipes are empty and the sink is wet. So our first method of trying is we're going to get the antifreeze into the plumbing system by using this hose now, which will screw into the van and drop into the bucket. We're going to raise the bucket up so it's fairly high with the hose going down. Then we're going to turn the water pump on and see if the water pump has the power to draw from the bottle. Now, of course, there's the first air, which may be a problem for the pump. But we'll see if we can get that pumping and then coming through the taps. With the taps, we're just going to open one at a time. Hot first and then cold. And like I should have mentioned, the valve is still in the closed position here. Still closed, so I haven't touched that yet. The freshwater tank is complete, well, that's not it, but the freshwater tank here is completely isolated from what we're doing now. So that's what we're up to. So this will be what we're calling the water pump method. So what we have attached the hose now to the city line, coming up here into the bucket. We'll turn the water pump on, open the tap to the hot side, and see if it draws the antifreeze into the van. So batteries on, inverter on, pump on. It took about 30 seconds or so before we could hear it start priming. And now over on the hot side, coolant. Cold side, a little bit of water, coolant. Coolant, coolant.
You don't need to waste your antifreeze.
So that was about half a jug. So that's going to leave us about, from what I purchased at least, a jug and a half. And these are the 4 liter? One gallon, 3.78, 1 gallon jugs. So hopefully this is enough now to go back the lines to the toilet and the shower. Hey, so now we're at the back of the van where the business happens. So we've got the shower nozzle aimed at the toilet, and we will open the valve up here. Oh, it's just out of shot, but trust me, the shower nozzle is here. Opening it up on the hot side, pink. Cold side, pink. It looks quite pure. It doesn't even look very diluted. So running on both sides, hot and cold, good. So the next step will be to flush the toilet a few times, get it into the black tank, and then we'll drain, well, at least we'll run the pump. We'll run the macerator pump to get it through the pump and it can fill up the hose, the pipe itself, because there's a lot of empty pipe, I guess I could say.
Your Banff is
You happy with that?
Yeah, your Banff is great. Really great. It's quiet and works good. Nothing wrong.
And pink's coming out here. You can see that instantly. Oh. We're done with the first bottle, and we're just transitioning to the second bottle. I'm sure we need both. We'll just keep running it through. So this method, have to get my good side, not that I have one, but this method is working so well, we're gonna not use the pump, the hand pump, because this is way too efficient this way. And we're definitely not gonna pour it into the freshwater tank because, you know, just the thought of it. I'm sure it's safe and food safe and, why? But yeah, so this is working. So it's gonna be a short video maybe. Don't forget, this is part 2. Check out part 1. How did we get this far? So one thing I'll point out with these toilets, it can actually function in 2 ways, and many people don't know that. And some people say, complaining that they don't have enough water flow and so on. So right now, it's in the full flow mode. So when I step on the pedal, you can just see how much antifreeze right now it's putting through. To change the mode, what you do is you hold the flush pedal down for about 10 seconds. And during that time, at the end of the 10 seconds or so, the pump sort of shuts off automatically. And that has changed the mode. So I'll do it now, and then I'll come back and show you the change. Oh, okay, here, I'll just do it now. So I'm holding it down. I just don't want to run out of antifreeze. There. So right there, the mode has been changed. So now the next time I flush it, very little water. So this is kind of like a dry flush, they say. It does open the valve. It does, you know, get some stuff through it. But that's the difference between the full wet flush and the dry flush. So that's almost 2 jugs there.
Yeah, that's enough.
Oh yeah.
I miscalculated.
Well, this is a proven method. So I have a hand pump for sale if anybody's interested.
Sorry.
But I do recommend the valve on here, and this is the one, well, yeah, he's got both types. So the same as what I have both types. The one's got the bicycle valve, and the other one's just an open valve, and they both thread in to your regular city line connection. So questions, comments down below, and we'll see if there's anything else we can do right now with this. We'll come back to you. So one check here for curiosity is we're going to open up the drain valve from the freshwater tank and see if anything comes out. This is where you have to be flexible and find it. This one here, so I have it now, opening it up, and it gave that one little Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do is just drain the gray valve, open it up, pull it a couple times, lubricate the valve, get the antifreeze on it, see what comes out. There may be a bit of water in here because of the vent allowing water in. Last time I stood too close and I got a gush, so I recommend on your shoes and stand back a bit, gently.
That looks just water, I think.
Yeah.
You need to pour the...
So we're gonna pour the more pink in the kitchen sink and then drain it out here. Be right back. I'm gonna close it a couple times. And there's the pink coming out. So now it's closed. I'm gonna pour the last bit in, and that's just gonna get up into the valve area. Keep it sort of lubricated over the winter. And that's that. So the last thing that we're gonna do, or at least the last thing that we think we're gonna do right now, is turn this valve back to the open position. And that's from the freshwater tank. That's the way when I picked up the van when it was winterized, they had that valve open. So this year, it's open again. So the next thing we're gonna do is just get some antifreeze now in through the macerator pump. We've been using the toilet to get some water into the black tank. And we don't need to physically drain the black tank because it was empty when we started. And so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna point out where the pump is. So this is now on the passenger side rear, and you can see the macerator pump here and the valve, which is up in this area here. which is controlled on the opposite side where the drain is with the valve, with the handle. This is the blade valve here. So what we're going to do is we're going to operate this blade valve, open, close it a couple of times, let the antifreeze from the black tank go into the macerator pump. We'll actually hit the macerator pump button a couple times just to make sure it gets in there. But between the drain valve here in that bucket, so between the drain valve and the pump itself is about 3 feet of pipe. So that's where the antifreeze is going to end up. And as shown in the previous video, video 1 of the winterizing, macerator pump button right here. So what we've done now is we've pulled the valve open in here, coming back around, batteries are on, inverter's on, hitting the macerator pump button, just pulse it, on, off. 3 times lucky, there we go. So it's pumped any coolant, well not any, but it's pumped some of the antifreeze from the black tank through the pump now, lubricating it, getting it ready for winter, and just filled up the hose.
Hey YouTube, it's Polar Time. My vlog will feature travel and adventure tour. Come along for the ride. What's stopping you? Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Hey YouTube, it's Polar Time. My vlog will feature travel and adventure tour. Come along for the ride. What's stopping you? Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.